Time was on our side. We had eyes on the suspect. We had him pinned down.
Right now on 11 News at 4, the man accused of shooting 2 police officers and leading authorities on an hours-long chase is now in police custody.
And one of those injured officers is still in the hospital this afternoon. What we're now learning about his condition and injuries.
And this isn't the only crime to happen at that home on Powers Avenue in Cockeysville. The other violent incident that took place at the same house 15 years ago.
And these shootings come almost exactly 7 years after 2 Harford County Sheriff's deputies were shot and killed in the line of duty. How they're being remembered today.
From WBAL TV 11, this is breaking news.
Well, that breaking news this afternoon, 24-year-old David Linthicum is now facing attempted first-degree murder and first-degree assault charges.
And those charges stem from allegedly shooting a police officer and injuring another.
Linthicum is now in police custody after a dramatic manhunt that started on Wednesday. Deputies arrested Linthicum in Harford County after he allegedly shot a Baltimore County police detective, stole a police vehicle, and led police on a high-speed chase from Cockeysville to Falston. 11
News reporter Brianna Ross kicks off our team coverage from Falston.
Deputies arrested Linthicum in the woods near Falston Mall, not far from where I'm standing right now. They spent 8 hours trying to get Linthicum to surrender, but in the end, they had to use what they call less lethal methods to get Linthicum in handcuffs.
Thank God. Thank God they got him, so nobody else will be hurt.
Relief in Harford County after law enforcement arrested 24-year-old David Linthicum early Friday morning, putting an end to a nearly 48-hour manhunt.
Our community is safer this morning with this individual in custody where he belongs.
The situation started Wednesday afternoon in Cockeysville when Baltimore County Police received a call for a person in crisis. When officers arrived at the home and tried to interact with Linthicum, he fired a gun, wounded an officer, and escaped. Thursday night, Linthicum allegedly shot another Baltimore County police officer, stole a police vehicle, and led police on a high-speed chase until an officer used stop sticks to flatten his tires near Falston Mall. That's when Linthicum got out of the vehicle and ran into the woods.
Time was on our side. We had eyes on the suspect. We had him pinned down. Where he was in a very wooded area amongst a lot of large boulders and rocks, trying to seclude himself. He was unable to seclude himself from the helicopter from Baltimore County and the drones.
Deputies arrested Linthicum just before 6 Friday morning. Shortly after, we spotted a tow truck taking this vehicle away from the scene near Falston Mall. Neighbors nearby say they're just happy this is all over.
I'm glad they got him, but, you know, I throw the book at him. Put him away forever.
The Harford County Sheriff says when they arrested Linthicum, he had ammunition but no rifle. They had previously received reports that he had a rifle when he ran from that stolen police vehicle. So law enforcement spent the later part of Friday morning searching for that rifle. In Falston, I'm Brianna Ross, WBAL TV 11 News.
Well, the Baltimore County detective who was injured is being treated at shock trauma this afternoon. Doctors say he is stable, but he is on life support. 11 News I-Team reporter Barry Sims is live for us with an update on his condition, Barry.
Well, Baltimore County Police tell us that he was taken to surgery this morning. We did not get any other official updates from the police department, but the union president tells us that he is out of surgery and progressing. Of course, we still have to get official word from the police department on that. Now, Police Chief Dennis Delp and County Executive Johnny Olszewski have been here. They've been asking for the community support and asking for the community's prayers. Concern and support for a Baltimore County detective now in the care of doctors and nurses at shock trauma. Police say the detective was shot multiple times during a manhunt. The shooting happened around 9:20 last night on Warren Road as officers searched for 24-year-old David Linthicum. Police say it was an extremely brief encounter. This is the second officer injured since police went to Linthicum's family home in Cockeysville on Wednesday. They responded to a call for a man in crisis. The first officer was injured when gunfire erupted at the home. Linthicum left the area, and that led to the manhunt. Here's what Dr. Thomas Scalia told us last night about the detective's condition.
We admitted a Baltimore County police officer with multiple gunshot wounds to his torso and his extremities. He came in shocky. We have stabilized him, but he is on life support. He is going to need a significant amount of reconstruction. We are putting our plan together now. He'll be with us for a while.
Last night, officers gathered at Shock Trauma. They waited outside to learn more about the injured detective. Others are keeping vigil today.
It's shocking what happened, and when you have officers shot back-to-back days, this does not happen in our community, and it just shows you the dangers of police work.
Now, once again, the detective underwent surgery today. We are awaiting for Baltimore County to give us any other updates on his condition. Reporting live from downtown Baltimore, Barry Sims, WBAL TV 11 News.
Well, Barry, thank you. That home on Powers Avenue where 24-year-old David Emery Linthicum allegedly shot at police has a complicated history. It's the same home where 15-year-old Nicholas Browning killed his entire immediate family back on February 2nd, 2008. Browning is currently serving life in prison.
Well, some schools closed today because of that earlier police activity. They are Youth's Benefit Elementary and Falston Middle and High Schools. And then in Baltimore County, several schools were closed on Thursday during the search for Linthicum. Well, today also marks 7 years since 2 Hartford County Sheriff's deputies were killed in the line of duty. Senior Deputy Patrick Daly and Deputy First Class Mark Logston were both shot while responding to a call on this day in 2016 in Abingdon. Flags will fly at half-staff until sunset. And to honor them, there's a Fallen Deputies Memorial Blood Drive until 6 today. It's happening at American Legion Post 17 in Edgewood if you'd like to donate. 11 News reporter Lisa Robinson will have more on this coming up on 11 News at 5. And 11 News will continue to keep you updated on these developing stories. Make sure you have the 11 News app to get breaking news push alerts sent right to your phone.
That breaking news right now, the U.S. military shot down a high-altitude object flying over Alaskan airspace this afternoon. The Department of Defense says it had been tracking it over the past 24 hours now. An official with the National Security Council said the object, quote, posed a threat to civilian flight.
Well, new at 4, police are investigating a stabbing in West Baltimore. Officers responded to West North Avenue around 1:15 this afternoon. They found a man with stab wounds being treated at a fire station. He was taken to a hospital in unknown condition.
Well, tonight, Anne Arundel County Police confirm a woman is now in custody in connection with Wednesday's homicide in Laurel. 46-year-old Rakia Talley was arrested today. Officers say they're still searching for other suspects. The victim was 32-year-old Antoine Conyers. He was found dead after he was shot on Russet Green East. Police are investigating an armed robbery at a pharmacy in Annapolis this afternoon. Investigators say a man entered that pharmacy on Giddings Avenue around 7 o'clock last night and demanded prescription medications with a handgun. The pharmacist handed over those medications and the suspect then took off. Officers later found him and a loaded handgun in his car. He is now being charged. Police also say he had additional open warrants out for his arrest. We're now learning that the wife of the victim is State Delegate Rachel Munoz. Police are investigating an assault that happened at a dance Thursday afternoon at Aberdeen Middle School. Multiple female students reported being assaulted by a 12-year-old boy who they say touched them inappropriately. The dance ended early because of those allegations. Due to juvenile justice reform legislation, criminal charges will not be filed. The new law prohibits Maryland police from criminally charging suspects under the age of 13. Sanctions will be handled by Hartford County Public Schools.
We are following some breaking news. This is in Carroll County.
Now, Sky Team 11 and Captain Roy Taylor are live over the scene in Tawnytown with some late-breaking details for us. Roy, what can you tell us?
This is a double shooting here right at the 300 block of East Baltimore Street in Tawnytown. State Police received a call here shortly after 3 o'clock. And when they responded, they found 2 individuals that had been shot. They also recovered 2 guns. Now, initially, what I'm being told is that both subjects ended up shooting each other. Now, State Police has dispatched Trooper 1 and Trooper 2 to the location to transport those individuals to Shock Trauma with serious gunshot wounds. We're still trying to get more information on this crime scene here in Tawnytown, and as we do, we will update you. Reporting live at Sky Team 11, I'm Captain Roy Taylor.
Well, in this afternoon's Session 2023 report, Republican legislators are pushing their package of crime-fighting bills that go after repeat offenders and increase penalties for illegally possessing a handgun. 11 News reporter David Collins has the details from Annapolis.
For one of its bills, the Senate GOP caucus reached out to City State's Attorney Ivan Bates to discuss what would help him in the crime fight. The Gun Violence Accountability Act increases the penalties for illegally possessing a firearm from 3 to 5 years. It's the bill City State's Attorney Ivan Bates initially had trouble finding a sponsor. Now he has a sponsor in both chambers.
Consequences for individuals who are carrying these illegal handguns. Because remember, this is a misdemeanor, and right now, misdemeanor cases, you're only really doing 25% of the time.
Making the theft of a handgun a felony is a long-standing priority for the Senate Republican caucus. In the past, the measure had been amended to other public safety legislation, but it was stripped out recently of the House version of the bill.
Is public safety going after lawful gun owners, or is public safety going after the criminals?
The Violent Firearms Offender Act has had bipartisan support in the past, but failed to get out of the House. It increases fines and jail time for gun crimes. It also closes a loophole where drug dealers get a lighter sentence than someone else convicted for the same offense.
It's repeat offender, repeat offender, repeat offender. This has got to stop.
Senate President Bill Ferguson says all of the bills will be considered, but Ferguson, who supports addressing the root causes of crime, did not leave the door open for a compromise.
If we're only solving this problem with penalties, I think we will have failed.
The Senate GOP caucus says its crime-fighting package is designed to go after repeat violent offenders and hold them accountable. Reporting from Annapolis, David Collins, WBAL TV 11 News.
Well, it was certainly nice while it lasted, right? And sadly, this will be the last spring-like day of the week.
Just for a little bit, though. Tom, you are tracking some wet and colder weather headed our way this weekend.
Yeah, temperatures will be a little closer to normal on both Saturday and Sunday. A little rain coming through late in the weekend. But as Ashley mentioned, it's only going to last a couple days. Next week, we're talking more spring-like conditions. Right now, it's a little cooler than yesterday, but still pretty mild for this time of year. Yesterday, we were almost to 68, 69, 70 degrees. Today, right around 59 with a west breeze. It's been a little on the gusty side, gusting out of the west at 21 miles an hour. Temperatures have dropped into the 30s out in the mountains, so they have cooled off considerably. And some of that cooler air will be working down into Baltimore as we head through the evening. No rain in sight tonight. The forecast calls for partly cloudy skies, breezy, chilly conditions, 30s in the morning, 40s in the afternoon tomorrow. So again, a little closer to normal tomorrow. And then we'll track that wet weather for Sunday. All that with the details of the 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Tom, thank you. Still ahead on 11 News at 4, more subpoenas connected to the January 6th insurrection.
The implications this could have on the upcoming 2024 presidential election.
And several genetic factors can factor into a cancer diagnosis. In today's medical alert, the testing you can get and how it works. Developing now, a barricade situation in South Baltimore. Police confirmed that around 12:30, a man barricaded himself inside of a home on East Patapsco Avenue. We're told officers were serving a warrant at the time. Streets in the area are shut down right now, and residents are being asked to shelter in place. Count on 11 News to update you on this as soon as we have some more information from police.
And this breaking news here, the FBI found another classified document at former Vice President Mike Pence's home during a search. This follows the discovery of classified documents found by his lawyers at his Indiana home last month.
Well, former Vice President Mike Pence is now the highest level person publicly known to be subpoenaed as part of the special counsel's probe into former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
And as Alice Barr reports, the subpoena follows months of negotiations between Pence and the Department of Justice, and it could also have 2024 election implications.
Spotlight on former Vice President Mike Pence, now at the center of two major investigations on classified documents and January 6th. Jack Smith, the special counsel investigating former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, issuing a subpoena to the former vice president.
It signals that Jack Smith has entered an advanced stage. You do not subpoena the former vice president of the United States as your first witness.
Prosecutors seeking evidence about critical meetings and phone calls surrounding January 6th and the former president's efforts to get Pence to reject the election results.
They are looking for information that Pence singularly has.
The former vice president has been outspoken in the past.
I mean, the president's words were reckless.
Mr. Pence declined to testify before the House January 6th committee, but a Justice Department subpoena in a criminal case holds a lot more legal weight. The former vice president is cooperating in a separate matter, agreeing to an FBI search of his Indiana home today that an advisor says yielded one more classified document. It comes after Mr. Pence reported last month his team had uncovered a small number of documents with classified markings in the home, saying at the time,
Mistakes were made, and I take full responsibility.
like in the case of President Biden's classified material, the Pence FBI search did not require a warrant. By contrast, the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago came after former President Trump's team resisted repeated efforts to recover a trove of classified documents.
Going back to the subpoena, it's possible that Mr. Pence and Mr. Trump will try to fight it with an executive privilege argument. And that's where legal analysts say this idea that only the former vice president can shed light on some of these critical conversations will be so important. In Washington, Alice Barr, WBAL TV 11 News.
Well, a bipartisan group of governors is at the White House today for an annual winter meeting. That includes Maryland Governor Wes Moore. The gathering allows President Biden to gauge how he's being perceived on both sides of the aisle before a potential re-election bid in 2024. The White House says Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris will use this opportunity to follow up on their economic agenda and to find out how states have used their federal funding.
Now, your WBAL TV 11 weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tasselmeyer.
So temperatures did back down a little bit today, about 10 to 15 degrees lower than where we were this time yesterday. But still rather mild for February for sure. It's 55 in Ellicott City, 57 in Centerville right now. Northbound toward the Pennsylvania line, it does get a little bit chillier up around Manchester, where it's currently 49 degrees and 53 in Forest Hill, but still in the 60s on the lower eastern shore, southern Maryland this afternoon, while it's getting colder out west. So there's a gradual trend here toward a colder weather pattern going into the weekend. We call it colder, really kind of normal weather. Temperatures in the 40s over the upcoming weekend. Partly cloudy skies tonight. We've had one front go through, and that's dropped our temperatures back a little bit today. The next front coming down from the Great Lakes, this one's got even colder air behind it, so that's why we think temperatures will drop back into the 40s, closer to normal. Same time, a storm is developing to our south, and typically we would have this cold air arrive, we'd get a storm from the south, and we'd have winter weather, but it's just not going to be quite that cold enough to produce that sort of wintry weather, at least around here. This storm, as it makes its way across the southern Appalachians, will likely produce some heavy wet snow in the mountains of North Carolina and southwest Virginia, and maybe even up into parts of the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, a little wintry mix there, but for our area, it's looking mostly like rain. On Futurecast, you can see the leading edge of that cooler air dropping down across central Pennsylvania, 11 o'clock tonight. That arrives by morning, and temperatures will be down in the 30s in the morning and 40s in the afternoon tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies. So again, 45 is about normal for this time of year. Then the chilly air starts to encounter some of that moisture coming up from the south, and you can see it's rain on Futurecast, the green shaded area there. Rain from Baltimore south is where the heaviest rain will be. There may be some light sprinkles to the north, but I think if you're up near the Pennsylvania line or back into western Maryland, you'll miss out on most of the precipitation Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. Notice the snow down there in southwest Virginia in the higher elevation. So it's really get up into the mountains where the air is cooler and you'll get a little snowfall. In the lower elevations, it's mostly rain. The storm will be moving off the mid-Atlantic coast by early on the morning on Monday with clearing skies. And after this departs, we're right back into that mild spring-like air. Temperatures well up into the 50s again on Monday and maybe even warmer toward the middle of next week. So partly cloudy tonight. We drop into the 30s. The winds will be a little brisk out of the west or northwest. High temperatures tomorrow, mid to upper 40s, partly cloudy skies and a northerly breeze at 5 to 10 miles an hour. The mid-40s down across southern Maryland, chilly there, partly cloudy in Baltimore tomorrow, and some sun but chilly out in western Maryland on Saturday. Sunday afternoon, we bring in the rain showers, especially south of Baltimore. That continues through Sunday night. Clearing and warmer on Monday, 50s Tuesday, 60s to almost 70 by Wednesday and Thursday next week.
In this afternoon's medical alert, environment, lifestyle, and your family history are some of the factors that can play into a cancer diagnosis. And knowing your risk of getting the disease could save your life. While having a potentially harmful gene doesn't guarantee that you'll get the disease, testing can typically assign a risk range. The first step is to get an appointment with a genetic counselor.
That's where we go through your family history. We ask those details about those cancers, how old someone was when they had it, what types of cancers, and do our kind of evaluation and assessment to see if we meet criteria.
Now, the counselor will not only look at personal and family cancer history, but also ancestry or the presence of abnormal cells.
Oh, you can protect yourself and others from foodborne illness by following 4 steps this Super Bowl Sunday. You should wash your hands in surfaces where food is being prepared and served. Next, you need to separate items to avoid cross-contamination. You also need to cook foods thoroughly. Finally, don't leave food out at room temperature for more than 2 hours.
All right, still ahead in 11 News at 4. Our WBAL TV puppy with a purpose weighs in on who will win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, who Tucker predicts will go home with bragging rights on Sunday.
As you can see, I'm going to the Super Bowl this year.
Plus, a look at how this kid reporter's passion for football and the players takes him to the Super Bowl.
When today's must-watch videos, our very own puppy with a purpose, Tucker, is weighing in on who's going to win the Super Bowl this
And
weekend.
he made his prediction during 11 News Today this morning. Watch.
Tucker, look, there's treats. Which one do you want to see?
30 seconds.
Okay,
He does not want.
Tucker,
I like it.
I know.
You are
This is-
impartial. You
It's
are not
like-
biased
it's
at all.
not the
I like
Ravens.
this.
I don't care. Look, Tucky, look. There's
He
a
says
treat
not
there.
gonna do it.
Oh, or there's a treat over here.
Listen,
Oh, I don't know.
Was he guided on that one?
I don't know. Tucker just seems a little confused,
Yeah.
really. But you heard it here first. Tucker predicts the Philadelphia Eagles will win on Sunday. That's
well,
what we're going to go with.
All
at
right,
least.
Tucker says so. We'll go with it. All right, the Maryland Zoo's 2 miniature Mediterranean donkeys, Harry and Lloyd, are football animals. In an annual tradition, the brothers had a chance to choose the team they feel will win the Super Bowl as well. Each donkey went to a different team. With delicious veggies inside each football, the real winner of the contest, it was the donkeys themselves.
It was the donkeys themselves, right?
They filled up.
Kid reporter Jeremiah Fennell is on his way to the Super Bowl armed with only a mini microphone, but asking football stars some big personal questions. His aspirations for a career behind the mic started when doctors told Jeremiah's family he shouldn't play contact sports because of a brain condition. That personal story also influences his own interview style and how he quickly makes the interview much bigger than football.
I like to talk to people about their personal stuff, their personal lives, and that's not what a lot of other reporters do out there.
Jeremiah's pro-level reporting now has racked up millions of views. His online fame and compassion for the players now leading him to report at Super Bowl 57. He seems so grown up.
He's a natural.
He's a natural.
Yeah, he's got it.
He's fantastic. All right, we'll still have the next half hour of 11 News at 4.
I'm Katie Mazur, live in Cockeysville. Reaction from residents here now that the lockdown is lifted, plus new court documents that explain why the lockdown was put in place.
And some really incredible stories of survival from Syria and Turkey. I'm Deborah Weiner, the 11 News Live Desk, with an update on recovery efforts.
Live, local, late breaking. WBAL TV 11 News at 4 continues.
Right now in 11 News at 4, an hours-long manhunt that spanned multiple counties leads to the arrest of David Linthicum. How Cockeysville residents who sheltered in place are recounting what happened and what charging documents reveal about the suspect.
And incredible stories of survival continue to pour in after devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. How long some survivors were trapped before they were rescued.
Well, we do have some new information about what sparked that massive manhunt for 24-year-old David Linthicum, including what happened before authorities issued a shelter-in-place order across 2 counties.
We're also learning more about what it was like for Linthicum's neighbors. 11 News reporter Katie Mazur continues our live team coverage from Cockeysville. Kate.
You know, a lot of neighbors today told us they didn't know exactly what was happening or why, but we now know what sparked this shelter-in-place order in the first place. According to new court charging documents, this all began just after 3 p.m. on Wednesday, the 8th. A police officer called to the Linthicum's home for report of a suicidal subject, and the officer and David Linthicum's father walked down together into the basement. They saw David lying on his bed holding a high-powered rifle, and then David fired 15 rounds at the officer and his father. The two adults, ran out of the house so they wouldn't get shot. And then once they were outside, the police officer realized he had been hit by one of the bullets. That is how this lockdown started, according to police. And today, neighbors here say they are relieved that the lockdown is now lifted.
It's just a really sad situation.
The threat to the community is over. The suspect is in custody, and residents in this Cockeysville neighborhood are relieved. For 2 days, they've been under a shelter-in-place order during the search for the suspect accused of shooting 2 Baltimore County police officers.
I really do pray for the policeman that, was shot. So hopefully he recovers fully.
I know, I am too. I just feel really emotional about that.
For folks on Powers Avenue, the lockdown began Wednesday afternoon. No cars allowed in or out for hours at a stretch. One neighbor told 11 News on the first day he waited 11 hours to get back up the hill and into his driveway. On day 2, says he had to walk through the woods to get home. Others told us they never left.
Actually, I got in just in time to be locked down on on Wednesday. My neighbor at the end of the street there couldn't get home till 11:30 on Wednesday night.
One of the major themes from residents here today, yes, they are feeling somewhat relieved, but they will not exhale. They will not allow themselves to say this is over until they know that that detective at Shock Trauma is going to survive. Reporting live from Cockeysville tonight, I'm Katie Mazur, WBAL TV 11 News.
All right, Kate, thank you. And Governor Wes Moore just responded to the manhunt and shootings. He said he visited the family of the detective on life support today. The governor saying, quote, "We ask Marylanders to keep the detective in their hearts, thoughts, and prayers as he recovers from his injuries. He and his fellow officers are true heroes who unselfishly put their lives on the line to protect Marylanders."
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Newton. Here's a look at some of the other stories we're following for you right now. The FBI is searching former Vice President Mike Pence's Indiana home for any more classified documents. Pence said that he found a small number of documents in his house in Carmel recently and reported that finding to federal authorities. Well, today's search comes the day after it was reported that Pence has been subpoenaed in another federal probe, that one in connection to former President Trump's alleged effort to overthrow the 2020 election. A new CDC update says seasonal flu activity is low across most of the country. It's only considered high in New Mexico, New York, and Puerto Rico. The flu peaked in November. Since then, related hospitalizations have declined, along with doctors' visits for respiratory illness in general. Flu, COVID-19, and RSV cases have been going down in the past few weeks, but experts warn that trends can change.
I'm Deborah Weiner at the 11 News Live Desk. Rescuers pulled several survivors from the shattered remnants of buildings today, including some who lasted more than 100 hours underneath the rubble after the earthquake hit Turkey and Syria 4 days ago, killing more than 22,000 people. Those rescues, including this 10-year-old who was trapped in the rubble under a building. It took crews more than an hour to rescue him. The teams provided the boy with life-saving medical treatment before he was taken to a hospital for further treatment. And a teenage girl was rescued after 107 hours underneath that rubble. Rescuers said she can communicate and move her arms. It is nothing short of a miracle for sure. The chance of being rescued alive after that amount of time is less than 1%, especially because of the below freezing temperatures the area is dealing with. And 2 teenage sisters were rescued in the 99th and 101st hour after the earthquake. The rescue team detected signs of life under the rubble with those seismic sensors and conducted a 10-hour rescue operation to reach the point where one of the girls was located. And during the rescue operation, local firefighters engaged in a conversation with her sister to keep her conscious, and during which she said she missed eating ice cream. And in response, the firefighters promised to get her some. These incredible stories of survival provide glimmers of hope that we all want to hear, and that some people can still be found alive under the rubble in that catastrophic earthquake. From the 11 News Live Desk, I'm Deborah Weiner.
Really is incredible.
Amazing.
Deb, thank you. Yeah. And as those rescue and relief efforts continue, some business owners right here in Maryland are working to make a difference for survivors of the catastrophic earthquake.
11 News reporter Kyrie Stewart spoke with a couple trying to do their part.
It's horrible. It's going to turn into a big humanitarian crisis.
Aslihan Nuri has family that lives in Turkey and felt the quake when it hit. She says they're physically okay, but her hometown has been ravaged.
About 11 buildings fell, collapsed, and many died and injured. And I know that a few of the buildings are in my close neighborhood.
It's stories like these that compelled people like Kalina Nadilski to do something.
It's just unimaginable, the suffering in that area, the people that have already been through so much, and the devastation is just horrible.
On Thursday, Nadilski came to Nazar Market in Columbia to donate several items.
Everything from winter clothing as well as bedding, blankets. I had neighbors that also contributed, so I brought their contributions.
I said we should do something. What can we do? What can we do? When you think like that, we saw the embassy's information, and I said, let's do this.
Nazla and Maten Irmak own Nazar Market, and they also have family in Turkey who felt the earthquake.
This one is huge. When we hear that, we just take the phone, call the family, and then we hear that they're safe, and then we're okay. But we're very sad about the other people, you know, it's very sad.
They've been working with the Maryland American Turkish Association to collect donations like clothes, medicine, and money, and they plan to take it all to the Turkish embassy in D.C. As the rescue efforts continue, they hope more of us chip in to help the less fortunate.
Just continue to show compassion for everyone in the world because we have more in common that separates us.
Kyrie Stewart, WBAL TV 11 News.
All right, Kyrie, thank you. Well, still ahead in 11 News at 4, a Kobe Bryant jersey goes on the auction block.
The near record-breaking price it's sold for.
And Chick-fil-A's new sandwich is getting some mixed reactions. What the company's saying about its new vegetarian option.
Tonight on Dateline, a North Dakota college town is left in fear after 22-year-old Mindy Morgenstern is murdered in her off-campus apartment. Detectives investigated neighbors, friends, and boyfriends before they discovered the killer hiding in plain sight. Keith Morrison reports.
It happened in a place where people watch out for each other. To a young woman everyone loved, a God-fearing college student slain in the middle of the day in her off-campus apartment. There'd be loads of potential suspects, neighbors, friends, boyfriends. Would it be one of them? Or the most unlikely of possible killers, hiding in plain sight? Tonight on Dateline.
Well, that new episode airs tonight at 9, right after Lopez versus Lopez and Young Rock.
Well, a special Kobe Bryant jersey sold at auction for nearly $6 million. This game-worn Lakers jersey from Bryant's only MVP season sold for $5.8 million. He wore the jersey in 25 games over the course of the 2007-2008 season. The sale price sets a new record for any piece of Kobe Bryant memorabilia. It's the second most valuable basketball jersey ever sold at auction. Michael Jordan 1998 NBA Finals jersey sold for $10 million last September.
Wow. Well, still ahead on 11 News at 4. Do you even need to file your taxes? Chief Consumer Correspondent Jeff Rossen will show you why he's asking that question and the free tool that will help you figure it out for yourself. Plus, new at 5.
Making sure all hair textures are accepted and respected. I'm Brianna Ross. I'll show you how one man strives to end hair discrimination. Just ahead.
Well, in a new Rossen Reports, we are getting the facts on your money. You know, not everyone is required to file taxes. There are certain requirements and income thresholds that make it possible for some people not to file.
But our Chief Consumer Correspondent, Jeff Rossen, explains why you should no matter what and the tool that will help. Jeff?
Yeah, to figure out if you have to file a tax return, we're going to go through this together. You have to start with a few things, right? Your gross income, your filing status, and your age. So here are some of the breakdowns. And by the way, hit record on the DVR because you may want to go back to this. We'll put it on the web later too. All right, if you're a single filer under the age of 65 and you make $12,950 or less, you technically do not need to file. Now, if you're 65 or older and you make $14,700 or less, you don't have to file. For married filing jointly, If you're under the age of 65 and you make less than $25,900, you don't need to file. For spouses both over the age of 65, if you make less than $28,700, you don't need to file. But here's the thing, even if you meet this criteria, there are special situations that would mean you do have to file no matter what. I don't make the rules, it's the IRS, you know, they're big books. Let's try to break this down. Like, for example, if you owe back taxes, you got to file no matter what. Okay, you got to file a return no matter what you make. If you have a net earning from self-employment of at least $400, you got to file no matter what you make. But there's also a reason you should file your taxes anyway. You're saying, Jeff, why in the world would I get in touch with the IRS and file a return and expose myself to the IRS and all my financials if I don't have to? Well, you may be able to get money back and you don't even know it. Maybe you overpaid your income tax. It was withheld from your paycheck. You don't know what's going on, okay? And you're owed money from an additional child tax credit, maybe. If you're still debating whether you need to file, this is the cool thing. The IRS has a tool on its website that will help you figure it out. It's going to ask you the important stuff like your marital status, your birthday, your income. And then it's going to give you an answer and more helpful links. I'm going to put the exact link from the IRS. It's like this long. It's really long. We're going to make it easy. We're going to put it on rawsomereports.com, a direct link so you can figure it out. That's all for today. We got more tax stuff coming. New information coming in all the time. We'll bring it right to you. Back to you.
Okay, we are following more breaking news. This is in Harford County.
Taylor are live over the scene of a crash in Abingdon, causing some major backups there with the late-breaking details. Roy?
This is southbound I-95, just south of 543 is where this crash is. Only one lane is able to get by, but the issue here is the traffic situation. Since there's only one lane able to get by on the southbound side, you have a backup from this location at least 5 miles north of here. And if you're coming northbound on I-95, even though there's no emergency equipment anywhere in the area, they're rubbernecking looking at this accident scene, and that's causing another 5-mile backup. So it's going to be extremely slow going up here in Harford County until they're able to get this accident cleared up. As we get more information on it, we'll update you. Reporting live in SkyTeam 11, I'm Captain Roy Taylor.
This afternoon's Consumer Alert. Adidas says dropping Kanye West could cost the company $1.3 billion. Almost half of that is from its inability to sell merchandise associated with him. Adidas says it's trying to figure out if it can repurpose that merchandise. It's also budgeting more than $200 million for a strategic review. West now goes by the name Ye and is behind Yeezy clothing and shoes. Google's new artificial intelligent chatbot tool made a mistake, and it cost the company billions. In a demo posted to Twitter on Wednesday, a user asked the bot, "What new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about?" Well, the bot responded with several bullet points, including one incorrect answer. All right, shares in Google's parent company, Alphabet, it dropped 7.7% Wednesday after Reuters first reported that news.
The Security and Exchange Commission has reached a $30 million settlement with cryptocurrency platform Kraken. It'll force the platform to unwind a program offering investment returns to U.S. users who committed their digital assets to the company. The platform did not adequately disclose risks of participating in the program, which advertised annual yields as high as 21%. All right, well, Chick-fil-A is stepping outside the coop and into the garden. The company is testing out a brand new chicken sandwich that has no chicken. It's a tender filet cut of cauliflower that's actually marinated and breaded in Chick-fil-A seasoning, then pressure cooked and served with a bun and the pickle. However, vegetarians beware, this sandwich is not vegan because it does use milk and eggs.
Now, your WBAL TV 11 weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tasselmeyer.
Temperatures are down a little bit today from that near record warmth of yesterday. We're still running above average, but you can see the change in the past 24 hours. Down 11 degrees up in Westminster. It's 31 degrees cooler in Oakland right now than it was at this time yesterday. So there is some chillier air trying to move in. Oakland is at 34 degrees right now. Yesterday at this time they were 65 degrees. So some cooler weather has moved into western Maryland, but it's still quite mild down on the lower eastern shore where temperatures are in the low 60s again today. with partly cloudy skies. Now we've got another front to the north of us. First one went through and just kind of dropped the temperatures a few degrees. The next one coming down out of the north will get us back closer to normal. So it'll be a chilly weekend, but probably not cold enough to produce widespread winter weather. This storm system looks like it's in a good position as it moves toward this frontal boundary across the southeast. That'll intensify the storm and help it to track along that front off the Carolina coast. That would normally be a pretty good track for us to get some winter weather here, but again, with the lack of cold air around, it looks like the main threat for winter weather will be where it's colder. That's up in the higher elevations, the mountains of Virginia and North Carolina. So this is 4 p.m. tomorrow. Notice temperatures in Maryland 30s and 40s, so we are getting a little bit closer to what is normal with cloudy skies. And then as we work our way into early morning Sunday, you see some pink here. That's the mixed precipitation in southwest Virginia and into parts of western North Carolina. We've got cloudy skies and temperatures in the 30s. Late afternoon, early evening, rain spreads into central and eastern Maryland. Probably not much precipitation to the north and west of Baltimore, maybe a sprinkle or a light shower. And then as you head down through the Shenandoah Valley, through Harrisonburg, down to Roanoke, and into the mountains of North Carolina, you get rain, sleet, and wet snow coming down at a pretty good clip there as we head into Sunday night and early Monday morning before that storm moves on. Yesterday it looked like some spots may get over a foot of snow, but it looks like there's going to be more sleet and freezing rain mixed in, so it's several inches of wet snow along the highest elevations of the Appalachians, again from Blacksburg down to Galax, Virginia, and into Asheville, North Carolina. But we just get pretty much a chilly rain here Sunday afternoon. So turning a little colder tonight into the 30s. Highs tomorrow, pretty normal, mid to upper 40s with a partly cloudy sky. And mid to upper 40s in southern Maryland, a little chilly out in the mountains. And then that rain starts to spread across the area Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. Should be gone by Monday when the temperatures reach the mid 50s again and into the 60s by the middle of next week.
All right, Tom, well, thank you. Gambling.com jumped into Google search data to reveal the most searched for food items over Super Bowl weekend. So here in Maryland, the #1 searched food is, do we have a guess? Do you have a guess?
I think,
Oh, it's on the screen. Oh, no.
I think that is the Maryland one, right? I mean, I was going to read it out loud, but I didn't want to burst your bubble, Kai.
Okay, my bad. Yes, it's right there. It's pizza.
#1.
Rounding out the top 3 are burgers and chicken wings. Other items on the list include hot dogs, chili, and chips and dip. All right.
I do love pizza.
You do love pizza. And speaking of dips, the website also looked into the 5 most searched options here in Maryland. #1 is salsa. That's followed by hummus and guacamole. Rounding out the top 5 is buffalo chicken and queso.
Yum.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. You can't go wrong with either of those, any of those. All right, still ahead in 11 News at 4. We are a few days away from the Super Bowl now, and some people are more excited for the commercials than the game itself. We got a sneak peek at the ads you're going to see on Sunday.
It was finally a test I could pass. The answers right. Here's a look at what we're working on for 11 News at 5. 2 central Maryland communities no longer sheltering in place. The days-long manhunt for an armed and dangerous man is over now. Tonight, we continue our live team coverage on David Linthicum's arrest and the condition of the detective shot. Plus, how one man is educating the next generation on Maryland's Crown Act as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. And why Johns Hopkins University believes its COVID-19 data dashboard is no longer needed. Those stories and much more on 11 News at 5.